Hello everyone, I'm Demon and welcome to Hell. Today we're going to modify this 1983 Honda bike frame. We're going to do a conversion from soft tail to hardtail. That's going to be phase one. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to modify as discussed with the client. First step, we want to get the height. So he has requested 6 inches from the bottom of the floor to below the frame for the motor. But to get there, we're going to have to cut out the cross members and then it can fully drop. The quickest way of making this from a soft tail to a hardtail is you could put a brace in between here and put a block and then modify it. But he wants more of a lot more chopped. So what we're gonna end up doing is cutting this whole tube all the way out. So both sides and the brace off. And then we're gonna put a bushing and take a 3/4 inch piece of seamless pipe and go connect it from here straight down. And then this pipe, this 1/2 inch tube's going to be saddled to the 3/4 inch. And then we will TIG weld both those connections on both sides. Well, now we're going to start chopping some stuff. I've got 2 bushings made up right here and the other side where we're going to attach our pipe to. But right now I'm going to just extract these 3 mounts here, your tank mount, your cross member, and seat support. I'm just going to take, rather than massacring the tube up, I'm just going to take the weld, grind the welds off, pull them off, in case we need them, or other modifications, whatever. If you want to extract something like this and not damage too much, then you work from the center of the weld in a little bit. If you work right on the weld and get rid of all of it right away, you want to go just to that edge and grind through until you see a line. Then you can pry it and pop it off, and you really won't nick the tube much. If you have to remove something, modify it, and not carve up your tube too much. So I'll show you more stuff. You'll notice a little crack or a line starting to form, so you stop there. I should have my headlamp on, it'll work better. Then if you still need to use the piece down the road or modify this for some other project, you have it. And there we can grind down the rest of it if we wanted to continue to use this tube. Alright. Yeah. The real test. Pull the blocks and set this one. And then we have to take the kickstand off so we can be sitting level across. And then we can take our measurements and start doing further chopping. But that's how low it's going to start sitting about this low. Foot pegs. Yay. So now that we removed the kickstand, we can set the frame down on this 6-inch block and get it to the height that the customer wants. And now we're going to take a measurement from this bushing to this location, and we're going to be doing a straight fit up. So basically, if I had my chalk, we're going to be cutting the weld off of here, and we're going to be chopping it here, but we have to give ourselves enough room so we can properly saddle it and then clean this up. So, you know, it'll be a little bit of fit up. We've got a saddle here, and we've kind of got a weird saddle there, and this one we might have to squash the pipe a little bit. So we'll do some fitting and chop that out, and that's really all it is. Measure, chop, fit, cut, weld, done. Move on to the next one. If anyone's asking about cross members, once we're done this, we're gonna leave the cross member till later, till he figures out what he's doing with the oil can and his half fender and his seat. So he's got a lot of other things to figure out before we go on to the next step. Yeah, so when it makes some marks, my chalk stays on there and I can follow my chalk lines. If you put your chalk lines on paint, they're going to rub off, they're going to come off. So it'll get you that much closer. This is basically the bottom of the tube, and then I'm going to the bottom of the bushing. Make it real fucking simple. And remember, this is the bottom that we're marking, not the top. Okay. So that's going to be the bottom of the saddle where we're sitting. So and then to saddle a 1/2-inch pipe over 3 3/4-inch pipe, I'm gonna give myself about 3/8 of room. That's more than enough. We'd only need about 1/4, so I'm gonna cut it right here. And then I'm gonna cut her up in the seam, and we'll get rid of that. And then we can mark and do the saddle, cut and fit. We'll cope our pipe, and then we'll drop it down and saddle it. And just trim to fit until we have it. There's only 2 of them. And we don't really have to worry about you know, your bike leveling off or anything, because the drive shaft and frame, that's already done. That's all stable. All we're doing is replacing the shocks and making a hardtail. So this is already top down. It's already rigid to where it needs to be on the frame. So you're not going to have to worry about clamping it down or anything. Just make sure you have a tight fit, because the bigger the gap, you're going to get shrinkage. If you have shrinkage more on either side, it may want to pull, and then it may feel funny, but you're not really going to have to worry about it. It's a simple chop, 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 chop. And then should be able to mark down the same, follow the same marks. But I will just do this, and then we'll go to the measurement, because I want them to be looking nice and parallel when I'm done, not difference in angles, because that would be dorky. So right now we're just doing a rough, and then we'll go measure. Rough mark. That's pretty much where the bottom of the tube is going to be. Let's check. It's about 6 inches top of the tube to that line. It's the same. I'd say she's pretty much right in the money where we need to be. So it's above that line. We're going to do a rough trim with that. Give ourselves 3/8 for the saddle, even though you're only going to need like a 1/4 inch. Not even. So, yeah. See, we trim our line right below this bracket. So we're going to do the same. I mean, it's just like math. Always check two different points, and if they come to the middle and they're really close together, then you know you're on the right track. But if point A is here and point B is here, then you have to look somewhere else and match your numbers up. Huh? Got it. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra room. I'll grind just above the welds, and we'll remove the pipe, and then we'll sand or grind down, rather than getting all excited and then cutting in the tube and going, oh fuck, now I got to do a repair. So let's just avoid that. Sorry to be a buzzkill on this one, but I don't know how everybody's used to using grinders, but cutting pipe with zips is probably the most dangerous thing you do. So I'm going to show you a quick pointer. See the center of this grinder? From here to here? Don't fucking use it. Otherwise it's going to kick you in the face. You want to use from this point here to this point. Now you see I have a modified guard. My guard is modified to 120 degrees. But from here to here is really the safe zone, because it'll suck it into the guard. If you get past this way, it'll spit it in your face. So always be conscious when you're cutting, and then try to look at if there's any stored energy. Like, is there a weight? Is it sprung? You know, when you cut the pipe and it pinches together, don't get in that position. You pinch this bait and stop it, you're going to catch it in the face. So, patience, right? So, go underneath now. Right on the bottom. That's where it could kick you in the face. bash that off. So. It's maybe a little messier. Voila. I'm going to get a grinding disc or an 1/8" disc, and I'm going to trim that up and then get a sanding disc and just clean it off. Now you're going to notice from time to time I do some of the things that I tell you not to do. But what I'm telling you is, if you go outside those ranges, you're at higher risk for something bad to happen. Sometimes I step outside and go, oh, okay, well, I won't be surprised when it punches me in the face. Keep that in mind. All right, let's sand some shit off. And that's all the prep for the new tubes. So I'll do my measuring and I'll start marking and I'll coat the tubes, and then we'll trim to fit, and then we'll tack it up, weld it, and be done with that one. Alright, here's now the first steps for the pipes that we've taken. We'll cut them to 22 3/4 inches, and then we have heated the end and forged it so it's not wider than the end of the pipe and narrower, so it can be able to fit and weld the bushing in and have enough room for the weld and the bushing. So there's, it's just straight cut, and then here's my weld prep for this one. And now that it fits nicely, and it's beveled on either side all the way around, so we can get 100% penetration. And I have marked the ends up, which I kind of unmarked them. These I just more or less did by eye. Cooked enough pipe, you get the hang of it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it up with the torch, do a rough trim, and then we'll set it and trim to fit as we go from there to get the exact fit that we want, because we're kind of dealing on a bunch of angles. So be patient, trim to fit, and get it the way you want it, get them both set, then weld them, and we'll go from there. So that's the only thing with the torch. It might get a little too hot for you, so be careful. There you go for our first trim and cut. We're actually sitting pretty much exactly where I want to, but I would like to clean up this gap here a little bit more. So we're gonna have to remove a little bit of this and grind it in the middle so it fits over top. And then here's our fit here. There for our bushing. That's where I want. And our tube. Our tube is in a good position, but if you come over here from the top, you're gonna see that we're left with no choice, but we're gonna have to heat this tube and bend it in to make it to fit to this one, because we want a nice straight line there, so we're gonna have to move this pipe in, but I don't mind that it's out of the way right now, because we can get this fitted almost exactly where we want. Bend this in, and then trim this and fit it. And then we'll be able to weld this side and repeat for the other one. Yeah. Alright, so you see now I've got my tube fitted pretty much the way I want it. Good enough for welding, or fitted for welding. Now I have to get this tube to the center of this one. So where are we sitting it right now is we're almost a tube length away. So we're gonna heat right around here past this support, and then we're just gonna bend it in a little and be done. One thing you don't want to do is burn it. So we don't want to take it above 1,000 degrees. So we get hot, right? And you don't want to make the tube spark or burn a hole in it. A little bit, and go on over here and I think that's where I need to be. Yep, that's where I want to be. Now we got that fitting to where we want. Now we have to cope this pipe. And there's many of exact ways to going about it, but I like to do by eye. Or what a good trick is start with the chalk tapered outside of the tube, and then you like this. And as long as your gap is bigger than the distance that we have in the chalk here, then you're gonna be okay. Alright, so my cope comes around here, and I'm still sitting a little bit above. I think this is going to work out just fine. So I'm not going to get the torch in there. I'll just take the die grinder, cut it down, be on the safe side, and then we'll fit it. Actually do this bottom chop here. Well, there you go. I'm pretty happy with that split up. That's alright, it's tight enough. Now we just have to do the same on this side and match it so when it fits, when it's all up, that it's level across here and here. Parallel. It's got to look nice and parallel when it's done. So, an easy way to start off your cope is just use the side of a ruler. Since that one is noisy. The top of the ruler. Now it's just sitting there, so you just lightly make your marks. It doesn't move. We got enough lines there that we can kind of guess. Now I'll take that off. Now we're going to go a little under. We'll make this line, and for the bottom part we're going to go a little under. And the top part we want it rounded like the other one. So we're going to go a little bit less. And we'll start with that first fit up. To the inside of the corner, just go a little less because you can always trim some more. Yeah, let's go cut that. We didn't need to move it very much. Make something look good. Let's try to get it centered. We're pretty much ready to tack up and weld this out. And that's how you fit it up. Now with this bike, the way this is, to avoid doing a bunch more work, I'm going to tack up the bushings here first, pull them off, and then weld out the bushings, put it back on, and then I'll be able to tack and weld this in full, and tack, and we'll see, we still might have to pull the tire off to weld the rest of this. But at least with the bushings welded on, we don't have to pull the drive shaft, pull all that off. So we're just going to try to make things a little quicker. One thing to remember when you're welding stuff on the bike is have your ground close and on the piece of metal that you're working on. If I had the ground down here, well then I'm going to arc through any bearings, shims, and stuff there. So we don't want to do that. Keep your ground to close where you're welding and no bearings in between. I'll weld it up. Well, I have done all the fit up and the tack up, and now I'm ready to weld. We're going to weld everything that we can, but we may have to take the tire to get off back in here. We'll see how it goes. Well, it turns out I still have to take the wheel off so I can finish the welds in the inside there. properly. Other than that, I would have left it on. But here we go, taking it off. I'm very happy how this project turned out. Both of these couldn't be any more parallel than they are. It just looks nice. It's done. Your client will be happy. I'm happy. You happy? Put the tire back on. Well, there we go. We've completed phase one of this chop and drop. It's now a rigid frame. You can see if you pan down and eyeball these surfaces across, they are nice and exactly on the same plane. Everything's 100% TIG welded, fitted nice. There's going to be no vibration on this. Be nice and solid. Come up here and have a view of the center, how everything fits. If you like this video and like the work that we've done today, please subscribe for more. Have a good one. Teaming out. Now it's time I gotta build myself a bike. I've got a couple sitting in the shed we can chop up. Wanna see start to finish? See what I come up with.